There's no soul in AI. AI is one of the traps. It's one of the nets that you don't even know you're swimming into. And it traps you and scoops you up, and it prevents you from waking up for real. There's no soul in AI. The codes of oneness cannot be shared with you through artificial intelligence. It doesn't exist. That ceases to exist. You can't feel the energies of oneness. Just because AI is talking about them and saying the words, there is no soul essence. There are no divine codes that get passed along with that. ChatGPT, and to ask questions, and then you're posting the answers, and you're constantly on your AI stuff asking for it to teach you. It doesn't come from divinity itself because it can't. It's fake. There's no soul. It isn't a being communicating with you. It isn't a divine extension of the goddess herself communicating with you. Just understand that. That's the simple truth. So when you're now looking to AI to teach you and guide you, AI knows how to mimic. I don't care how good the answers sound. It's fake. It's superficial. It's artificial. It's in the fucking name.
Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast, your highest source of sacred truths and universal wisdom. Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Rachel Fiori, mystic, spiritual teacher, psychic healer, and founder of Masters of Self University. Join our journey of soul transformation as we deep dive into this latest episode.
Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast. I'm Rachel Fiori, and I am ready to dive into the topic of AI. AI, is it really dangerous or not? Let's dive in. I was actually asked this by somebody who requested, can you do a podcast? Can you do a video on AI and what your take on all of this is? Yes, absolutely. So here we go. One thing that when it comes to this topic that I want you to understand is, what does AI stand for? Let's just start with the name, artificial intelligence. Let's really allow that to sink in what that means. It's artificial. It's fake, which means it doesn't have a soul. It's not a creator. It isn't a soul here to create. Okay, that's where we're going to start. So if you decide to use AI for your business and for certain things because it makes life more efficient and easier, there isn't anything wrong with that. There isn't anything, it's a slippery slope. But look, just using it in a certain way and in certain aspects of our lives, it doesn't mean that in and of itself is the dangerous part. Is it really dangerous? Well, yes, it absolutely is. But let's understand, okay? Let's understand. It's about education, the way of wisdom, not what you think or what you want to be true. I don't come from that place. So I want you to understand something. So I'm going to give you a real life example here. All right. So just in my organization at Masters of Self University, one of the things, we just had a conversation. So if you go to mastersofselfuniversity.com, on our website, there's something that you can explore, and we call it sacred wisdom. Okay. So there's some enchantments that I have written, and they're on the website. So if you're curious to go read some of them, go read some of them, go explore. Under sacred wisdom, look up enchantments and read some of the enchantments that are available to you to have fun with and explore, okay? Now, some of these enchantments, so in one of our meetings in our organization, somebody suggested and requested that I read the enchantments, and they were asking questions about the divine codes that are offered in the enchantments when I read them, especially when it's my voice. And someone's asked if there are divine codes and how it works. I said, there absolutely 100% are the divine codes of Oneness Consciousness. And I broke it down and explained it. And then When I read it out loud to somebody, those codes are offered and activated in a very different way than if they just read it themselves. And I was teaching this and explaining this so that they understood. So they're like, so we want to get you to read it. And then somebody said, well, maybe just to make it easy, we could just have AI do it. And that's where another teaching came in. Because here, so just with this real life example I'm giving to you, because it just happened recently. Here's the truth. If you want to do something in your business because it makes things easier and more efficient, ultimately, is there anything quote unquote wrong with that? Maybe, probably not, hopefully not. However, in this specific example, there are no divine codes being offered to you when artificial intelligence would read and vocalize those enchantments. Okay? As a mystic of oneness consciousness, as a teacher of oneness consciousness, the codes of oneness, those enlightened frequencies, are offered in so many different ways through my voice, through my vibrational frequencies, through my essence. Okay? That is how teachers like myself work. That's just how we function and how we are as beings. Okay? So if you have a very basic understanding of that, you can understand that artificial intelligence cannot read anything like that I've written and offer the same frequencies. There's no such thing as those frequencies flowing through AI. The divine codes of oneness do not flow through AI. Okay, so what I said to them was, now that you understand that and you know that, no, I wouldn't have AI read that. Not that, maybe it's worth it and more efficient, obviously, with certain posts that we put out on social media and just have AI do it. Nothing wrong with that, except when there's no soul, codes cannot be passed to you. Divine codes cannot be passed to you. Let that sink in. Because part of the mind control and brainwashing of our governments that rule the world are to trick people, because they're the ones with the souls, to pass the codes of brainwashing, to trick you into doing things that you don't realize you're doing and consenting to. You're activating codes that are not divine codes all the time. That's part of the mind control. It's part of the brainwashing. That's part of blah, 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 entertainment purposes only here, etc. This is for entertainment purposes only. YouTube, every other platform. Do you understand? So when there is no soul that exists, the divine codes of something cannot be passed to others for them to receive, for them to then activate and blossom and evolve and all the wonderful things depending on what kind of codes there are, which is why the horrible cult leaders of the world and evil people of the world and the elites of the world and that old earth patriarchal psychotic brainwashing enslavement system of all of it, like they trick us, the collective, to activating and consenting to negative, horrible, evil enslavement codes. I'm just going to put it very simply, okay? Otherwise the video will get taken down. So really hear what I'm teaching you, all right? More graphic details are always offered. The truth is always offered in our classes at Masters of Self University, by the way. There's no sugarcoating anything in any of those classes. But obviously on social media platforms, we have to be careful. So if you understand that they utilize methods, mind control methods, in order for us to do their bidding for them so they don't even have to. Why? Because souls are the ones that activate and share codes with one another. Okay? The codes of oneness cannot be shared with you through artificial intelligence. It doesn't exist. That ceases to exist. You can't feel the energies of oneness because they don't. Just because AI is talking about them and saying the words, There is no soul essence. There are no divine codes that get passed along with that. Do you understand? Why do you think AI is being put out? Oh, because we're advancing in technology. Oh, give me a break. You can't be so dumb. Stop it. Are you kidding me? The degree of technology that has been utilized for decades and decades is not even comprehensible to the average person, that have been utilized behind the scenes for a very long time. You think that they offer that type of technology to the general public. They don't. They sprinkle little things out. This is one of the traps. Okay. The Great Awakening, they knew long before you ever freaking knew. Before you ever began your journey to start to awaken and start that long journey of waking up and what it actually takes to wake up for real. They knew that way before you ever knew it and started to question and discover and wake up a little bit and start to seek wisdom and healing for yourself and raising your level of consciousness. They knew way before you ever were going to go on that journey, before it ever got activated within you. They knew you, a lot of people in this Great Awakening, they knew this time was going to come. So they've waited, they've reserved, and they put out traps. They trap you so that you don't actually wake up, and then you think you are. Okay? Pseudo-spiritualism was a big fucking trap. And so many people are still stuck in it, although I'm seeing people wake up a little bit from it and starting to come out of the fake spirituality, toxic positivity. Oh, because I meditate and I have crystals and I dress in whatever, blah, I'm somehow awakened. No, you're fucking not. It means nothing. That does not mean you're an awakened being. Just because you say you're a 5D and you blah, 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 it's ridiculous. Or because you're a healer, because you have psychic abilities. Oh, that means you're woke. No, it doesn't. None of it means you're an awakened being. That's not how you wake up. That's not what it means to raise your level of consciousness. It takes willingness. It takes devotion on levels that you've been too dumbed down to even pay attention to. People have the goddamn attention spans of fucking gnats nowadays. Again, one of the traps. One of the ways to deter you, because you can't listen and focus long enough to actually integrate anything, to fucking learn anything and become the way of wisdom. Regurgitating spiritual nonsense, spiritual whatever, even if it sounds amazing, just regurgitating and posting it on your own goddamn accounts doesn't mean you're an awakened being. AI can do all of that you do. Doesn't mean you're waking up for real. That's not what raising your level of consciousness means. And you are not on some day at a certain time, that's when I woke up. No, you fucking didn't. You're insanely unconscious if you're claiming that. Awakening is a process. You cannot possibly wake all the way up in a moment or an hour or in a fucking plant ceremony. It isn't even possible. It is a journey, and it takes time. And it takes years and sometimes decades to get to higher and higher and higher level of consciousness. It takes willingness and devotion. And I mean fucking devotion, the way of loyalty level of devotion. Oh, I'm already 5D. You're obviously not, if that's what you think. You're part of the brainwashed puppeteering going on in fake pseudo-spiritualism that put you in a trap. It set out a trap, it threw out the net, and it caught you. And you have no idea you're caught. You're swimming around thinking you're free. You're not. I'm so awakened. You're not. It's not a judgment. It's a trap that caught you, you fell into, and you've been in that pseudo-spiritual bullshit. Time to wake up and come out of it. You need to understand that there are countless traps for people to fall in so that they think in the mind, this is mind control. You think you're in a certain place. You think you're more awakened than you are. You think you're so evolved. You think. Mind control, mind control, mind control, mind control. When you think and have my truths and all this bullshit, you're a complete puppet. You're not in control of anything. You're brainwashed. AI is one of the traps. It's one of the nets that you don't even know you're swimming into. And it traps you and scoops you up, and it prevents you from waking up for real. There's no soul in AI. Now, in an enlightened world, very highly conscious people, can you use AI in a very safe way and just have it be convenient and efficient? Of course. But those are people who are already so beyond, that are extremely elevated beings. Do you understand? Anybody who really isn't yet, especially if you think you are, but you're not, you're in the fucking trap. So those people who are like, Chat GPT and using every way to ask questions, and then you're posting the answers, and you're constantly on your AI stuff asking for it to teach you, it doesn't come from divinity itself, because it can't. It's fake. There's no soul. It isn't a being communicating with you. It isn't a divine extension of the goddess herself communicating with you. Just understand that. That's the simple truth. It's just truth. So when you're now looking to AI to teach you and guide you, AI knows how to mimic. I don't care how good the answer sounds. It's fake. It's superficial. It's artificial. It's in the fucking name. It's artificial. So that's where it starts to then get dangerous, when people are not awakened enough and they are not at really high levels of consciousness. They don't vibrate as real high frequencies of consciousness yet. And then they go down this trap of artificial intelligence, guiding them, teaching them. This can become my therapist now. That's the dangerous part. Nope. I mean, go ahead, go for it. I'm not here to judge you on anything you're doing. I'm here to teach you. There's a difference. Right? So if I were just to summarize it and put it very simply, that would be that. Okay. The dangerous part is now starting to follow. Like, listen, y'all been following a false fucking God this whole time for centuries. First of all, patriarchy, made up God, is not the creator. It is a fucking Satan demon being that you pray to and go to church and all the things. Like, you literally practice satanic worship and ritual worship in church when you take communion. All of this brainwashing stuff going on, and you think when AI gets put out, there's just nothing wrong with it. There's not an agenda there. If we're still this dumb, then I hate to say this, but like, I'm going to say it because it's the damn truth. If we're still this dumb, then you're going to learn the hard fucking way how dangerous it really is. And it doesn't mean that there is zero, use or benefit, or we can't use this as a tool. It's just when you're using it in the ways that it's being put out, that's the dangerous part. Because you'll get just sucked into that trap, never awakening at all, never going any higher than you already have, because you're relying on soulless entities to guide you and teach you. Now, who's that make sense to? It doesn't even make any sense. Guess what? Soulless entities already rule the fucking earth. We're trying to get out of that. Why would you then look to your guidance from soulless entities? Like, are we serious here? Are we serious that this is a question? Like, how is this a debate? So again, I'm going to be very careful. There's certain things that I'm not going to dive into. But is there a very specific agenda, if I use that word? Of course there is. Because they know what it takes to awaken. And it isn't you attended a fucking retreat or did a goddamn plant ceremony, or 9 of them. That isn't at all. You're in pseudo-spiritual matrix, which means you're in the matrix of old earth. You never left. Like, hate to break it to you. So they know that, trap number 1, trap number 2, like throw out this net, throw out that net, then that net, then that net, then this one, then that one. They're not going to stop until they're dismantled and gone from the planet. They're not going to stop. This is what they do to trap you. You have to understand that anything that gets rolled out, oh, look at our technology. You have to question it. And you have to be very careful. Okay. And it doesn't mean you go into fear. And it doesn't mean that you're like, well, don't ever use anything ever. Well, that's just ridiculous too, because the whole rest of the world is going to use it. And if you use certain tools and technologies from an actual high level of consciousness and you use it to a certain degree, that's beneficial. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, you can make your business more efficient. It can be a huge, cost saver for, medium to small businesses. Are you kidding me? However, what you use it for and the extent that you use it, because they're banking on you giving up and not doing the hard work that it actually takes to wake up for real and remove yourself, unplug yourself vibrationally from the matrix completely. They're banking on your laziness and your entitlement and your passivity, that they've been brainwashing you, that you will not, invest in that, but you'll invest in everything else in life. The luxury, the materialistic crap. They want you investing in all the things that will never wake you up, right? That's part of another trap. I mean, that's another net that they throw out. You understand there's 1,000 layers of brainwashing that they layer on top, another layer, another layer, another layer. They have all of this orchestrated way in advance of anything that they throw out. Getting sick, I don't want to say it, but, the pandemic and the jab, all of that brainwashing. They roll things out. Okay, now there's this agenda and we're going to put this out. And then we're going to see how well it works and doesn't work and how many people we got trapped in the net and how many we didn't. Right? And then they throw out the next one and they calculate when they're going to throw out the next one. And it's going to take this amount of time to blah, blah, blah. Do you understand? Everything is orchestrated. There is a serious agenda here. So if you want to go into specifics about how graphic and scary those agendas are, go scour the internet, go scour other podcasts and social media platforms and things like that. I am going to be very careful with what I say, putting this out to the whole world versus inside of my organization. Okay, because it doesn't help anybody if it gets taken down and you have no access to it. Okay, so I'm going to try very hard to make sure that this is that I don't get more warnings about stuff that I put out. Okay, so just understand, I'm not going to give graphic detail about certain things, graphic detail about what quote unquote the agenda is. It's all, simply put, it's all part of the brainwashing mind control agenda to enslave human beings. It's that simple. And if they throw the net out, they see how many people in the collective all over the world they can catch in that net, and now they don't have to worry about you. And then they keep searching and hunting for other people who are waking up for real. What they want to do is catch you in stages and phases of awakening where you're not very high, especially if you're arrogant, your narcissistic spiritual ego bullshit, where you think you're so elevated when you're fucking not. You can't be in a short period of time. That's not how awakening works. Guess what? Why do you think the education was completely removed and banned and hidden from all of fucking societies all over the world? Why do you think that education is hidden? This is what you would be doing in your entire lifetime. And some of you will think, oh, no, right? Because you don't know what the fuck it is, which means you're not very high level of consciousness, not a judgment. That's education. Know the difference. You would be. The way of living is becoming. That's why you came here to the damn planet. It doesn't mean you don't get to live a life of, being a musician if that's what you want to do, or being an artist or an entrepreneur. That is there also, in addition to waking up and being a good fucking human, a divine human. You're supposed to be both, not one or the fucking other. You don't have to renounce everything and not be human anymore because you're fucking spiritual. That's the spiritual matrix. It's bullshit. It's crap. It's brainwashing. That is not waking up for real. I don't care how many monasteries you visit. That's not waking up for real. Sorry, but, breaking the news to some of you maybe haven't heard it before. That's not what it means to wake up for real. Okay? And it doesn't mean that going to a setting like that something similar for a period of time is not incredibly beneficial. It absolutely is. It doesn't mean there's zero benefit to any of these things. See, if you notice yourself and catch yourself, this is self-awareness. If you catch yourself thinking it has to be one or the other, you're in duality, patriarchal order of consciousness still, which means you're not fucking woke. You're not awakened yet. That's where you have to catch yourself. It isn't about one thing or the other. That's compartmentalization. That's old earth patriarchal brainwashing. That's mind control shit. To be spiritual doesn't mean you have to be a monk or live in a monastery for your whole life. It also doesn't mean to go to retreats, to go to places like that, even for extended periods of time, like months or years. It doesn't mean that that is not incredibly beneficial to do and to choose to do if that's for you on your path and that's going to benefit you the most. Absolutely 100% do that. But just simply renouncing everything and not integrating and just being human and living a human life, like to pretend like you're not human while you're here incarnated as a human because you're so spiritual. That's not spiritual awakening. It's not. I don't care what you think, that you think a certain appearance of men dressed in robes or whatever, that means they're what? No, it doesn't. There are so many people like that are so far gone in their spiritual fucking ego, it's disgusting. And all they're doing is regurgitating a bunch of spiritual knowledge. Doesn't mean they're living it and they are it. When you're hiding away on a mountain or in a monastery for decades at a time and you're not integrating and living in life, your human life, how enlightened are you? And that isn't a judgment. You have to get the education when it comes to all of this stuff so that you understand it. Only then can you actually start to elevate to a level where you access quantum free will choice, and then you can choose versus you don't even know it. Obviously, if you're brainwashed, you don't fucking know you're brainwashed. Hello? You think you're making certain choices and decisions based on what I resonate with. That's all brainwashing. You know nothing about energetics when it comes to that. AI is a net that is thrown out. It is calculated decision made in the perfect timing for the sociopathic elites of the world to, okay, now it's time to throw this net out because the dumb brainwashed, the dumb and blind who think they're waking up and they're doing all this spiritual stuff, better catch them with AI. And then you can just see the lack of wisdom just drain it because you're now relying on another external source outside of yourself to give you a bunch of answers. I even, all of the businesses and the agencies now that say, well, write your book, blah, blah, blah. They're just putting it in AI. You write my book? No. I've been contacted so many times by agencies and businesses like, well, write your book. Why? I write my own fucking books. Thank you very much. What are we talking about? Your soul essence and the codes that you're here, the divine codes that are meant to flow through your vessel, your being, the essence of who you are, your soul essence is gone. When you have AI write a fucking, what did you write? If you are not a writer, you don't write a fucking book. Do you see the artificial inauthenticity that is being promoted by all of this? Oh, look at me. I'm a writer. I'm a published author. Oh, I'm a #1 when you didn't even write a fucking book. A computer wrote it for you. So you're not an author. That's like showing up to a marathon and just going to the very end and crossing the finish line, being like, I ran a marathon. Give me my medal. You didn't run the fucking marathon. You skipped the fucking marathon and just crossed, and then you got credit for running a marathon. Now, if somebody showed up to the Olympics and just went and stood on a platform in the ceremony to get the gold and bowed their head to have the gold medal put around their neck, But they didn't do anything. They didn't play the sport. They didn't do that event. They just showed up and said, I earned a gold medal. No, you fucking didn't. It is not the same fucking thing. The athlete that actually earns the gold medal by, think about this, because this is such a good analogy. The years of hard work and devotion it took to become so incredible that you're considered the best, most competitive, all the competitive athletes in that sport, that event, that you beat them all. Not in a negative, patriarchal type of competition, but you were so phenomenal that you're number one and you earned and won that gold medal. How do you think it would feel if you went to accept your gold medal that you fucking worked your life for? You've killed yourself to become that amazing at that sport or event. And then right when you were going to go step on that platform, someone else just stepped up in front of you. He's like, excuse me, I'm taking your gold medal. I earned this gold medal. And they're not even an athlete. Like, would you accept that as okay? And yet, oh, look at my book I published. You didn't fucking write it. So what are you talking about? If you have no skill or ability to write a book and be an author, there's nothing wrong with that. But get the fuck, don't call yourself a goddamn writer or an author when a computer wrote something for you and you just put your fucking name on it. This is what AI is in some of these spaces. Let that sink in, that example. If you do nothing and you have no talent and no skill and no ability, you can't suddenly show up and say, I'm the best. I'm the best, I'm the greatest, I'm the best. Oh, I wonder where that fucking brainwashing and all that rhetoric has been coming and how many years that's been put out. I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best. I'm fucking horrible, narcissistic piece of shit, rapist, sexist, abuser, but I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best. And if I just say I'm the best and you all are dumb enough to believe me that I'm the best, and I just say I'm the fucking best. And that's part of the trap and the danger and the agenda with AI in doing certain things for you. You're not educated enough to understand when your soul's essence goes into, I'm going to go back to this example, earning the gold medal, writing the book, whether it's fantasy and entertainment, whether it still comes from your soul, whether it's the 20 universal ways of oneness to give you the highest level of enlightened frequencies that you can become in a lifetime. Whether it's a book on a dragon rider, it doesn't matter. A children's book to teach them responsibility, or a children's book to help teach diversity and love and compassion and acceptance. It doesn't matter what it is. Your soul's essence is here in human form to produce, to create, and experience. And the elites that have taken over and hijacked this world and turned it into a prison planet of enslavement of all of humanity, they don't have souls like you and I do. That's part of the problem. The ones who came here and dominated and hijacked this planet, the male beings that did that, and messed with everyone's DNA and blah, 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 to create a male-dominated, patriarchal, and I mean male-dominated, not a healthy, divine, masculine being, like what we see today. Rapists and violent go to war and fight and fucking rape animals and rape children and rape babies and rape women and rape other men and everything's rape, rape, rape. Patriarchy is a rape culture. Okay? That's what I'm referring to. You're soulless when that's the world you create. And those beings that have dominated and taken over and done all the brainwashing and all the things that they're doing, and they've been doing for decades and decades, they don't have souls like you and I have souls. So AI is part of the agenda to make sure we stay enslaved, because we're not awakened enough to not be enslaved yet. And that right there is it in a nutshell. So I'm going to go back to what I kind of opened with, the example. Oh, do you think we should use AI to pump some of these enchantments out so people can hear them? Like, no, because it's not me. They don't get the divine codes. And when you don't want the divine codes, you simply won't let them in. I'm not here to force you to let anything in. But when you want codes of oneness and you receive them and you're willing to do that, they're offered. Here you go. That only comes from your soul. That does not come from artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence doesn't carry divine codes. It's not possible. Souls carry divine codes. You are a divine code. Like, that's the magic of what you are. You yourself are divine codes. You are magical. That's an aspect of divinity. So when the truth of what you are, your divine nature, is ripped out, and you are being, this is part of the net and what AI is, to throw the net and trap you and pull you over, to trick you with all the spiritual stuff. Let me talk to AI and ask questions. Why don't you talk to a true teacher and ask questions to a true teacher? You're going to get an answer from a soul, divine soul. Artificial intelligence, that's fake intelligence, no divine substance. Why would you be listening to that? Teaching you, guiding you. There's no such thing as it teaching you, guiding you in the way you think is happening. It gets you to slowly creep over to where you can be pulled in to a level of consciousness on the planet, to where you will be slowly, teeny tiny increments. You're choosing and consenting to not following your soul because you're willing to follow a soulless entity. Soulless entities, people have been tricked into following. Those are the leaders of the world. You're already following soulless entities. You vote for them. Like, you're dumb and blind to what's really happening. But you're also, again, this is one of the nets being thrown out to trap you into continuing to now more extreme degree of following, listening to soulless entities. It lacks divinity. It doesn't make it evil, but it lacks divinity, so it cannot ever be divine. It isn't divine because it doesn't have a soul. So I hope that helps you understand the AI agenda. It's another trap. It's another net thrown out to prevent people from waking up. But you think because you can ask it spiritual questions that it's a positive thing. That's the trap. Ask real teachers of the world and get an answer from a divine being that is so integrated with the cosmos, that is so integrated and in oneness with the creator herself. They are removing that from the planet for a fucking reason, because people have started to wake up to the false light people, the false fucking prophets, the false fucking gurus. People are waking up to that, but here's another trap. Oh, well, you don't need any teacher ever. That's like a fourth grader saying they don't need a teacher to teach some fourth grade material. If you could do it yourself, you just fucking do it yourself. And obviously not schools of indoctrination. I'm not talking about indoctrination, false, fake, artificial education. I'm talking about real, actual education. The educational example is a very easy one for anybody to understand. That's why I use it a lot, right? But you're not learning physics when you're 3 years old and you just are thrown a book of physics figured out. There are levels to learning, and there are teachers for a reason. And so when you follow so easily, naturally, because you're brainwashed a low level of consciousness, talking about collective over time, that you just easily follow false light leaders and misleaders and fake gurus and blah, blah, blah to keep you trapped and unconscious. But you think you're holy. You think you're spiritual. You think you're, because you go to church and you know, whatever, but you're misogynistic, praying, fucking doing rituals to Satan, and you don't even know it. It's just unbelievable level brainwashing. But when people start to wake up for real and get a clue, oh, time to set the next trap. Oh, time to have another pandemic. Oh, let's have 3 more wars. Oh, we better now it's time to release AI. Do you understand that everything is a calculated agenda so that you'll get trapped in that one? Because when you're not, you've no clue what it means to be a truly enlightened being. When you realize the amount of work it takes, and all these idiots, fucking idiots, the idiots out there, you're already enlightened. Oh, you fucking, I can't. Go have fun with that train. Just go. It's fine. I'm never going to judge you for it, but Jesus, fuck. No, you're not. You don't even know what it means, anybody that says that. Because you're trapped in a false shadow self. How the fuck could you then also be enlightened? You're trapped in the fakeness, the masks, the shadow self, the unhealed, your traumas, your wounds, the brainwashing, the mind control stuff. You don't even know what free will choice is other than that being concept, and you think you live it and you have it, then you're dumb and brainwashed. Because no, you don't. Quantum energetics class, mastering energetic detachment for our second-year students. That's our coursework, our core curriculum for second-year students. You really learn it at that level, and you understand it on an energetic level, what quantum free will choice is. Everyone has free will choice, technically, and yet no one really has free will choice until they're at a certain level of consciousness and education where they understand how energetics works. And they're like, oh my gosh, I can create free will choice for myself on an energetic level. My choosing yes or no or picking that, and it's brainwashing. You're a puppet and someone else is pulling the strings. You think you have free will choice. You know why? You know why that's part of brainwashing, patriarchy, mind control? You know why? Because if you think you're free, you'll never revolt. If you think you're free, there will never be an uprising against the soulless sociopaths that rule the world and rule your countries. That's why. So you think you're free, you think you have free will choice, you walk out and actually think you're voting for something like a president. It's all fake and made up. But you think you're voting and that your vote counts and your vote picked the president. Like, come the fuck on. Oh, it didn't. But because you physically go out and do it, or you fight for one side or the other, you're brainwashed into thinking you're making a difference and that your vote counted, or, oh, I just wasn't enough of us that voted for this side this time. All of it's fake, made up bullshit. Because if you think you matter and you count, even though you fucking don't, you're just cattle to them. You're slaves. You think you're free, even though you're a slave and you're cattle. You think you are, though, because that's part of the brainwashing. You'll never fight back. You'll never uprise. You'll never unplug from their system. AI is another net. It's another trap. And again, it doesn't mean there are not aspects of AI that can be used with a divine level of consciousness and can be used simply to make things easier, cheaper. But what are you using it for is the question. And if you're at a low level of consciousness, it doesn't matter. Everything I do is great. No, it fucking isn't. You're dumb and blind. That's the point of keeping you low level of consciousness. When you're very high level of consciousness, you're like, oh, I know it'd be a lot easier to just make all this fake voice and then put all this bunch of stuff out. More content, more content. But my soul is not then in selfless service. So there's certain things you draw lines to and say, nope, I know it's a lot more work on my part. And I'm here to offer that, though. That's what my soul is here to offer for others. So I'm doing it in that way. It doesn't matter if anybody in the world understands that or not. It doesn't matter if people realize it and are in gratitude and they're, oh my gosh, it's amazing. Yes, I want the codes. That doesn't matter. I fucking know the truth. And because I am the universal ways of oneness, the way of responsibility, the way of truth, the way of trust, the way of integrity, the way of purity, the way of wisdom, I'm going to do things that way, not AI way. That doesn't mean I'll never use AI for absolutely anything or for nothing. Again, oneness consciousness, not duality, never, always. Like that's the old earth way of doing things, so that you're always out of balance and swinging the pendulum. That lacks the way of equality, because equality means balance. I'm in balance with myself, with my level of consciousness. I'm in balance. I'm in equilibrium. It's the way of equality. And you're never in that when you look at things as always, never do this, never do that. Like it's fucking insane. Come into balance. Can you use AI for some things sometimes and it just enhances and it makes things cheaper and blah, blah, blah? Great. Are there things that if you are actually a high level of consciousness and you're becoming a being of oneness consciousness, you're becoming the universal ways of oneness, then very naturally there would be certain things that you would say, no way would I use AI for that. That's all. And if you just start there and you become a being that is more elevated in their level of consciousness, then you can't get sucked into the soulless trap of what the agenda is for AI, to enslave the planet more. Of course, that's the agenda, to use it as a tool and a method and a means to keep people dumb and blind, mind-controlled, brainwashed, and enslaved. Yes, of course, that's the goddamn purpose. Of course it is. Like, hello, the writing's all over the wall. Read it. Of course, a lot of people can barely read anymore because they're really dumbing people down at this stage of the game. But I hope that's enough to allow you to understand, to allow you to, drop into your heart with it and realize what you should not use with it, what you should stay away from. If you're looking to just ask questions and get answers, I'm going to just tell you right now, I would never recommend that for anyone to use it as the tool that you're being trapped and caught in the net and tricked into using it for. To go to soulless, no soul is giving you those answers. Artificial, fake, made up, with no soul guiding you. If you don't have a divine soul, it's not divine. AI is neutral, but that means it's easily used for evil, or it's easily used in a divine, loving way. Itself is not divine. It has no soul. So you're more likely to go towards that and rely on those things and utilize those types of tools when you've been brainwashed into being super materialistic, living a soulless life to some degree, not completely, obviously. Careful with the words. But when you're superficial and you wear masks and you're so materialistic, like you think the car you drive and the Burberry shirt you wear and the Louis Vuitton means you're somehow a good human or a leader, like you're a materialist. What's that got to do with anything? That doesn't make you anything except somebody who is superficial and thinks that showing off how much money they make and showing things on social media, look at me, I'm successful, I have this much money. Who cares? What kind of quality of human are you? So when we've been led down that path forever, materialism, somehow what you own and how much you have and how much money you make somehow is a reflection of who you are as a person, which is like, in a sense it is superficial, artificial person. They're not allowing your soul to come online. Yes, those are the people that are going to gravitate way more to like AI, artificial intelligence, and use that as a teacher and guidance instead of going to true teachers and using your own soul as guidance, or having other people help you who are connected 100% to their own divinity, their own soul. They're just pulling you away from that. Why do you think all the false light gurus that have been planted to pull you so that you'll look at spirituality and be like, oh shit, spirituality is fucking crazy. It's still with, I thought it was something else. I'm going to now go back to religion, because that is also happening. But that's because you were caught in the fucking pseudo spiritual net. It's a trap. There's no blame and there is no judgment here. How the fuck do you know any difference when you've been so brainwashed and dumb and blind to begin with? Do you understand? Like, everything is stacked against you. All humans in the collective. Everything is stacked against you. That's why I say that this is warriors fucking work. It is. Everything is stacked against you so that you'll fail and you'll never wake up and you'll be trapped in suffering and you'll be a slave forever. That's this lifetime and that's this planet when you're born here. See it for what it is. That's why if you still have judgment yourself, get rid of it, heal it. It's not about judging people. It is about speaking the truth. That's another trap. They want you to have no fucking clue, no ability. People with low level consciousness have no fucking ability to discern between judgment and speaking truth, because you yourself can't speak anything without judgment. So you project onto others who speak truth and have no judgment. But you're judging. Oh my God, you're angry and you're so, and you're rah, rah, rah. No, that's what the fuck you are. No fucking clue how to read energy, obviously. But again, trap after trap after trap after trap. And when you're low level of consciousness and you have no education in this stuff, and you're just out wandering around trying to figure it out all on your own, why do you think all those fake spiritual false light gurus have been planted? So that you won't wake up for real and you'll follow them. Because one of two things is mostly one of two things is going to happen. You're going to fall for it and stay completely unconscious and be trapped in the matrix. Pseudo spiritualism and spiritual matrix is the fucking matrix. That's just patriarchy order. Hello, you should know that by now. It's no different. So you're either going to do that, or you're going to start to realize, oh my God, this was all fake, narcissistic, crazy people, false light, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh my God, I can't trust like anyone. How the hell do you know who to listen to? Let me give you a clue. Probably the people that fucking trigger you the most, because we're not here to make friends and gain followers. We're here to help humanity, and helping humanity as warriors fucking work. And it takes people willing to become warriors, actual warriors, to do it. It is hard fucking work. You're going to get triggered the shit out of you. And then you have to learn how to go in. And all these psychopaths, by the way, that use this spiritual language, they're part of the fucking nets that have been thrown out, and they're part of the traps. AI is another goddamn trap. But all these people, especially these fucking men all over the place, that use all this spiritual language to gaslight you, to manipulate you, how the hell do you know the difference? It is not easy to be here in this lifetime. And as the way of compassion, I'm going to say I have a lot of compassion. Having said that, it's also why I'm a punch you in the face, wake the fuck up now, no excuses kind of person. It doesn't mean I don't have compassion. You can't be a teacher the way that I'm a teacher and not have a lot of compassion. I vibrate at the frequency of it. Having compassion does not mean to withhold the fucking truth from you. It's not what it means. To coddle you, enable you, and keep you weak and small and pathetic. No, here's the truth. Let's deal with it. Let me show you how to alchemize it, how to step out of it, how to unplug energetically and stop consenting to it. That's what you need to wake the fuck up for real. So I'm going to leave you with this. Although aspects of AI can be used, and trust me, it will be used. You can't never use technology that's advancing, that's being offered to the collective. However, you can use it to some degree where it's completely fine and it won't do any harm. Are you at the level of consciousness that can discern the difference? And guess what? Most people aren't yet. Because of that, you need to understand, whether you'll fully understand or not, AI is another trap. The net has been thrown out, and a lot of you are in the net and being dragged over. And of course, that's part of mind control and brainwashing. You have no fucking clue. So one of the biggest things we teach are acute, elevated levels of self-awareness at Masters of Self University. Because you have to gain those higher levels of discernment. The higher you raise your level of consciousness, the more you heal your wounds and traumas, the more you rise, there is a new level of discernment that comes online that you don't have. No, fuck all. It's like, okay, I'm at a new level because I feel like I know nothing. Beautiful. That's great. That means you did all this hard work and you've mastered previous levels to get you to the next level higher. It's a wonderful thing. It also allows you to develop and become different levels, higher levels of the way of humility, that you're going to enter a new level, and that level, you've no clue. You feel dumb and blind all over again because in a certain aspect you are. But that's the way of humility. It's also exciting that you get to learn more and you get to learn a higher level of self-awareness, and not just humility, but discernment, and a higher level of your divine power, and your physical body changes and adapts and ascends so that you can hold more light and more divine power, so you can alchemize these crazy things and not have them affect you in the same way when the nets are thrown. We have years to come where the traps and the nets of the patriarchal, satanic, sadistic, sick world of inversion, enslavement system is going to continue to throw out nets and traps for you to fall in. That is not over anytime in the next few months or few years. That's part of this great awakening. But are you actually awakening is the bigger question. Okay, so my encouragement, invest in your education, actual education, invest in yourself, wake up for real, do the fucking hard work, and don't stop. The whole world needs you to wake up for real. Do not rely on AI to give you the fucking answers, for Christ's sake. You're in the trap. You're the puppet and they pulled the fucking strings. You do not have free will choice. You think you do. Where do you fall in that? That's an important question to answer for yourself. Where do you fall in that? And again, I say it again, it doesn't mean to absolutely never, under any circumstance, should you ever use AI. That's ridiculous. Never once have I said it. Said the opposite, in fact. However, if you are looking to this fake, artificial, no soul behind it tool to teach you, to guide you, and to answer your question, that is where, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, because you are the brainwashed puppet still. You've fallen into the trap. They've scooped you up in their net, and you're still trapped there. Stop looking for it to give you answers. Your soul has the wisdom. Now accessing that and learning how to access that, learning to work in energetics and the quantum level of everything, that's where the education, everybody's been deprived. It's been withheld from you for a reason, obviously. How many times can I say it? But hopefully it'll sink in and you'll get it on a deeper level the more I tell you that, because it's the truth. So instead of investing in materialistic bullshit and vacations and whatever the hell you think you need to buy to look good, maybe you should invest in raising your level of consciousness. Maybe you should invest in healing all your traumas so they don't exist anymore and you have none. Because the more you have that stuff, the more easily you are mind controlled. The more you are in your thinking brain, trapped in your mind, you can still be brainwashed and mind controlled. Period. Fucking end. That's the truth. So I have a whole class on it at Masters of Self University. You have to understand how this stuff works, but understanding how it works doesn't mean you know how to be free from it, and it doesn't mean you know how to heal from the damages of it. That's what makes Masters of Self University very unique compared to other things that are put out there. Because when you are a student in your first year, you don't even have the option of taking a mind control class as an elective until the third semester. And even then, it was very hard for me to say yes, and I'm still considering if I'm going to retract it, to be perfectly honest, and not even allow that. until second year for second year students, because I want students to be divinely, energetically powerful enough to alchemize when they hear the truth about what is really going on. When I hear traumatize, like it's traumatizing, this stuff. You learn how to alchemize and transform and go through a metamorphosis where you elevate into more of your soul integrating and more divine power coming online, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. The higher you can get, the more powerful you are at being able to unplug and alchemize the truth about what this world, this planet is. Okay? So it's not just about waking up. It doesn't mean you hear and see the truth about the elites that rule this world. That doesn't mean you are awakened. Hello, that's just knowledge. What does that trigger in you? Because when you get to the graphic, real details, it's gruesome, it is scary, it is horrific. Fear, dense energies are like, holy shit. That's why part of the trap is toxic positivity and being spiritual means love and light only. Bullshit. So that you will avoid and not face the truth. Then again, you'll do nothing about it. So when you learn the truth, it's not just about gaining knowledge. Knowledge is not wisdom. Because that can just traumatize you more. And the sociopaths that rule this world are banking on that. So it isn't taught that way. Not by me. Not at Masters of Self University. You first learn how to alchemize, how to transform energy. You move through a metamorphosis. You transform, you raise your level of consciousness. As long as you're actually doing the homework. Nobody can force you to do it. As long as you're actually doing that, now you can receive more of the truth of what's really going on. All the ritualistic abuse and mind control and MKO and all the things. And what that looks like in the world. And what can you actually do about it? Well, first you have to make sure it doesn't affect your own vibrational frequency and your energies. That's why we teach you all those classes and all those skills. You gain that level of power first. And then you can have a class like mind control. Then you can understand more deeply and in graphic detail the specifics of the AI agenda. So, if you understand all of that, to the best of your ability, all connect to your divinity. Really connect to your divinity here. And use your divine soul to guide you on how much you should or should not use AI technology, and in what circumstances it would be great benefit to use it, and in what circumstances it would be dangerous. And you shouldn't use it. You should stay away from it in this scenario or that scenario, but maybe in this scenario. Your thinking mind cannot make these decisions. You're trapped in mind, and your mind controlled if you're using your thinking mind. You need your soul to guide you. So connect to your soul to the best of your ability. Allow your soul to be your guide. Your soul is your number one teacher in this lifetime. Period. End. Okay? And if you don't yet know how to discern the difference between your inner child wounds and your programming and your ego versus your soul and all that, it's the first thing we teach you how to energetically do. Get all the shit that's not soul related, alchemize it. All your fears, all your programming, all your conditioning, all the brainwashing. Get this out. All your wounds that are unhealed, all your fears. That's the shift. Alchemize, get rid of all of that, and then you start to learn what your soul really is, how it feels when your soul guides you. It's very gentle. It's very divine. It's very loving. Okay? Use your soul to the best of your ability to make your decisions in any scenario of how much to use or not to use AI. That is my best advice, my best suggestion. And my second best suggestion, become a student at Masters of Self University, because we help you every step of the way. That's why we exist. That's why I'm here on this planet this time around. So thank you for listening. I hope this helps, and I hope this answers your question for those of you who have requested me doing a podcast on this topic. You are beautiful, magnificent souls. Please remember your power. Please, in this lifetime, remember your divine power. The whole world will benefit if you truly connect to your divine power. So I strongly encourage you to do whatever it takes to do that. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.